I am here.
Hell yeah. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was we had a lot of turkey, you know, just and then the food coma and then, the recovery.
As you should, as as is the Thanksgiving way, as I've come to understand. Um, right. I can do the little intro spiel here if you like in the quick marketing update, and then I'll hand it over um to you. But just quick intro for everyone. I think generally most people have been around before, but every couple of weeks the engineering team uh, does a recap review of what everything they've done in the previous sprint and all the things they've worked on. They go one by one to show off what they've done and run you through it, and then we'll record this process and put it up and recap it for anyone who missed it to view. It's a way to build in public and hold ourselves accountable and show off the cool stuff that the devs have been working on. So yeah, as a quick update from the marketing side, we've done a few different cool things that have come out in the last few weeks. Our latest article is live on X. We're publishing a couple of new articles in the next couple of weeks on our blog, so be sure to go subscribe to that. There's some test ad campaigns that we've got on X that are pending approval because X is very picky on what they allow to be advertised, and as we approach mainnet, we're just making sure that we're all good to go. Nothing's been blocked or anything, but it is taking a while to actually go through the approval process, it seems. But that's just a minor update for anyone interested in ads. We are looking into the ambassador verification process and making it a little stricter, just to make sure, because there we have the suspicion that a couple of the ambassador activities that have gone on have been less authentic than one would hope, and it is negatively impacting the standing on socials is a potential side effect of that. So in the next couple of days or week or so, them the demands for verification on the ambassador side of things for ZLE may strengthen. It won't be like KYC or anything like that. It will probably just be like we'll ask for like a wallet or something like that we can just verify that you are a real person and not a bot. And yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And this Sunday, the monthly newsletter goes live. So go subscribe if you haven't already. You can go to ammalgam.xyz and you can find the subscription um, button there. It's always a good read put together by Galina from our team. So yeah, that's pretty much it from the marketing spiel from the last week or two. Will, do you want to take it away, Ernie?
Yeah. Thanks for that overview of marketing. So yeah, we're working hard on the contract side, a little bit behind. We'd hoped to get a code complete hash by Monday over to the auditors. And we just didn't quite make it. There were a few things that came up. I had some revelations on I don't know, Saturday morning, while I was in um, Buenos Aires. So I mean, Buenos Aires was kind of a blocker in general. So I was in Buenos Aires for Devconnect and sort of spending the day and part of the evenings networking and trying to, rub elbows with LPs and whatnot to make sure that we're, setting ourselves up for success and getting enough liquidity into the protocol when we launch, as well as like coding at night. So I'd get home and code for like 3 hours, but definitely kind of a little bit of a blocker for the team. Had a revelation Saturday morning of one of the issues that the auditors had mentioned. Like we had a number of things that we were doing to fix the issue, but I sort of had this revelation of like the last thing that we needed to do. So anyway, kind of on me, and then also there's a few things that we sort of realized we should do. So before starting the audit, so I was hoping to get a code complete hash this week. We're still wrapping up a few items. I'm very optimistic. I don't know. Maybe everyone from the team can tell us what they're working on right now and if we can get a code hash by Monday or not. But right now our goal is to get that code hash as soon as possible so the auditors can look at the code and verify that we fixed everything. So very, 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 very close. Not quite there. I guess that's kind of my update in general is like just being lots of progress in Buenos Aires. It was actually a great event for me to be at and connect with a number of people that we're creating agreements with in person and definitely in spite of the market, Buenos Aires was great. No one talked about the price or it's kind of a bear market right now. The energy and enthusiasm has left the room, and yet Buenos Aires was just a very vibrant event. People are super excited about the future. Builders are excited. Like the environment was really rich, and so yeah, trying to think of anything else. We're I think we had said, and we keep saying that we're going to try to launch the product in December. Um, we're a little bit behind, at least 1 week, right? So we're making that December deadline, the end of the year deadline, a little bit tougher, just for those people who are keeping track. But we're going to try to do everything we can to launch as soon as possible. But the other thing that now is sort of coming into play is as we're talking to liquidity providers, it seems like nothing happens in December anyway, and so they're all, looking at January. So it may be for the best anyway that if we can't launch in December and we sort of have to launch in January, a lot of the potential LPs would be using our product and that we'd be trying to court into getting excited about our initial incentives will be looking at January anyway. So yeah, trying to hold the line as far as launching, but getting a little bit of yeah, things are a little bit delayed right now, and we'll know better by our next engineering update for sure. I think we'll know both. I anticipate we should have a code complete hash. We should be able to get the code of the auditors, and we should be able to know from the auditors if they had any major concerns, right? Because that's the next potential delay is if we get feedback from the auditors that either we didn't fix something or we did fix everything and everything's good to go, or um, perhaps we did fix everything, but they realized something else, right? So that's going to be the kind of major determination on the speed at which we can get this thing live. So that's kind of a high level of the engineering and my kind of personal update for the last sprint. Yeah, so pretty disruptive on the engineering side for me for being in Buenos Aires, and then also this week Thanksgiving, and also I had a day where I took a day off as well for my wife's birthday because I'm trying to stay married in this whole startup thing. It's much harder than you might imagine, and yeah, so that's me. I'm gonna start turning it over to engineers. The engineers probably made this, painfully clear if you've been at other updates, but for anyone who's been here, coming here for the first time, this is a chance for our engineers to give updates on their progress, what they worked on this week, and for us to both be transparent with the our people who are following along in Discord and have an open building environment and building in public, and for you guys to learn about what we're doing. So if you do have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat at any time. I know there's always this awkward moment with all the engineers where they're like, are there any questions? And so, we love questions. So please, if you do have questions, don't hesitate to pop them in the chat at any time, and we'll try to answer them. Either the individual engineer, or like we'll answer questions about what they're working on, or what they did this last sprint, or one of us will answer the question if it's related to something else. And with that, who wants to kick us off?
I can go real quick. So last week, essentially, I was wrapping up on some of the audit findings that I was working on. They're small things, mainly just addressing comments on the PR. And then basically spend the sprint this week supporting Ishwar with the fixing test cases on his PRs, where we're starting to charge a protocol fee on borrow and borrow liquidity, and that kind of screwed up a lot of the math that we were doing in the test cases. That took a little bit of time, and I think it's like a team effort. Me, Ishwar, and Eric, we were all kind of working on that at some point. And then yesterday we groomed a couple more tickets that I'm gonna work on starting today. Hopefully, I can get one of them across the finish line by Monday. At least that's the goal. And basically, we have this startup penalty ratio internally in the protocol at 85%. So we want to make sure that we have this complicated saturation calculation to see when a position will be in penalty. And we want to make sure that the penalty actually starts at the saturation ratio of 85%. But we did some math yesterday, and potentially that at the edge, it will, with that ratio, the penalty will start even at 85%. So I did some quick testing yesterday to just like set things up, and I've set up a fuzz test to actually observe the failure, but it might take a little bit of time to kind of find where that edge is, and then making sure we have the proper solution to handle that edge. Yeah, so that's kind of the next piece that we're working on to just wrap things up. I don't think this came out of the audit. I think Will had just found this, and we wanted to address this obviously before everything goes to the auditor. Yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I guess I'll popcorn to Ishwar.
Thanks, Johan. Hey everyone. So yeah, I think like Johan kind of slightly touched upon what I was focusing on this sprint. So yeah, in the previous sprint, like I was working on one of the audit issue uh, that one of the security researcher reported. Basically, it's related to a denial of service attack. What that means is that we have a limit of how much like anyone can borrow from the protocol. So let's say there are $1,000 in the protocol. We allow up to 90%. So the max that you can borrow is $900. So if let's say someone wants to withdraw their liquidity, withdraw their funds that they have kind of deposited in the protocol, and in that, if someone tries to front run that transaction and do a borrow where it hits the limit of the 90% of the available uh, liquid collateral that people can borrow, then like the withdraw transaction will actually fail or revert, because we don't allow withdrawing when the max limit is kind of when the max limit of 90% is kind of reached. This is to ensure that like the funds are there in the pool. So in order to avoid such attacks, so that like people who are trying to withdraw their funds or like any other transactions, we wanted to charge some fees so that there won't be an incentive for someone to kind of do such attacks. Like if a malicious user wants to do it, now it's going to charge them like a 0.05%, like for anyone to be able to kind of borrow, and these go to the protocol fees, so that like it will like stop someone from doing such attacks for the protocol, and b, this can also be a slight incentive for some of the positions that people might have. We can like kind of help liquidate them. So yeah, like in both the ways, it is in favor of the protocol. So yeah, like that's pretty much like on a higher level the issue, and it's like kind of recommended solution that we came up with. So as part of this, like there were like, since now we introduced this additional 0.05% protocol fees, like the lending fee that we have, because of that some of the math kind of got slightly complicated in terms of like if someone is borrowing a single token like X or Y, or the liquidity basically where they're borrowing like both X and Y. So yeah, like some of the tests were failing, and it was a slightly complex math that was involved. So everyone from the team kind of paired and like helped me with like kind of fixing those test cases. So yeah, one PR already kind of got reviewed and merged. We are still waiting on like reviewing and merging the last piece, where we have the initial lending fee for the borrow liquidity scenario. So that's pretty much like most of the time that I've spent in the sprint. Apart from that, like previously I was working on like fixing some of the other audit issues related to a quadratic fee library, which is basically like our version of a dynamic swap fee, depending on like how far the price is being manipulated from a swap. Let's say if a large swap is happening, so we charge the fees dynamically based on like how much the price is going to get changed because of that swap. So yeah, like there were some issues around that, and that kind of boiled down to like one more issue where we have a method. So let's say if someone is trying to like uh, take out a swap 100 USDC, so we have a helper utility where we kind of figure out how much ETH someone has to put in to be able to kind of get $1,000 for that swap. So we call it compute expected swap in amount. So to estimate the swap in amount, we we didn't completely have a per math. We had it working completely with the quadratic fee for the expected swap out amounts, but for the in amounts there were some minor issues, and like we missed some of the edge cases or boundaries that were involved. So, and there was also precision issue that was there. The amounts were like in the decimal. There's a discrepancy with some decimals here and there. So yeah, we are currently like focusing on trying to get that helper utility also working as expected, because like without that, if someone it will be helpful like for someone who is trying to integrate with our protocol and try to estimate the amounts that they need to be able to swap some of the amounts out. And also in case of liquidations, this will be definitely helpful if someone is trying to liquidate the other token, the position which has borrowed the other token, and they have the token that they want to put in. So yeah, like that's pretty much on a higher level some of the things that I've been focusing on this sprint. Let me know if anyone has any queries in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. And if there's anything else, I'll talk on to Eric.
Thanks. So this sprint, I focused on working on the safe casting make the code change, and then finished up the depletion issue, which is ChainSecurity reported. It's been taking some iterations, and that issues has completed and merged. For the safe casting is kind of like things been thinking to worried. Also, it's kind of add up from the things we wanted to be done. So that one has been completed and merged to our develop. So that's two major tasks been finished. For the safe casting, there's a dish work, like a side dish work, which is needed to considering about the code size. So manage the not many the code to be efficiency, considering the efficiency of the code, and where to line up the better places. So it's kind of like a tune up the code into a better in a better situation. So also change the all assets type from uint 128 to uint 112 to match the same size of the all shares. So right now we have both in our code we only use the uint 112 to manage the assets type, and that reduce the sum code size, and also for the overflow check, we had many places that are using the hard casting for the uint 112 to in the calculation. So spent time investigating in that security checked, make sure there's no overflow on the hard casting. Some places has to use a safe casting for the to make sure that's where it's not overflow. So that's kind of like a overall in the looking, scanning into the code and trying to make sure that's everywhere we use hard casting, it's not going to be overflow, to make sure where we could use unchecked for the code, where it's safe, because if we use unchecked, this we can bring us both on code size, to reduce code size, and also the benefits on the runtime gas. Yeah, that's and also the during the changes also need to consider about the in the calculation we want to for the type of the original assets, we have the uint 112, but in the calculation we want to upcasting to uint 256, which is safe upcasting, to allow to be used in the normal calculation with the other uint 256. So that's also been bring into the consideration of this this code change. Yeah, that's pretty much started looking. I started and with Will started looking into the upgradable code with the proxy, using the proxy. So that's also another new thing. So we added in lots of things to other than the debugging to complete the auditing previous auditor reported. I think, yeah, that's pretty much about me for the sprint. And I think that's it. I'm looking to the planning board. I'm sure no one now has a visual. Is that a good idea? We show a lot of done in our planning board. Sure, if we want to show that.
Yeah, we could show that. Why don't you pull it up? I'll the last thing I'll just go over really quick is the update from Nitin, who had some conflicts, but just from while you're pulling that up, just go over. He worked on fixing the earning logic to be shown as part of the overview panel in the pool action modal. So just what's being earned, I guess. On the front end, this is all front end changes. Worked on migrating the faucet code to use WAGMI instead of Ethers JS, because we're trying to deprecate or just remove Ethers JS as something we felt like was like tech debt in our front end and use WAGMI entirely. So I think this is the last thing to do before we rip out Ethers JS out of the front end. Worked on removing Ether.js and type chain libraries from our code base, which was tech debt since we started moving stuff to WAGMI and VM. So kind of what I was saying before. Exploring some UI concepts for our portfolio dashboard page design, still work in progress, or maybe we'll show some once things get concrete. So something maybe we'll see in the near future. And then created a POC on implementing the bundle transaction UX EIP 5792. So something to make the click friction better. Okay. You want to show the board, Eric?
I'm showing right now. Are you able to see that?
Well, we're seeing your workspace. Did you share your screen or your work, like just one window?
Oh, I'm probably showing wrong screen. So see my board.
Yes.
Probably slow from my end. Yeah, looking at the sprint, but many of them we actually marked it done. It's like a for last sprint, but they actually finished this sprint, right?
Yeah.
So that's I think these two sprints we got done a lot. I can feel that, but showing it is kind of like a lot of finished work.
Yeah.
Feel really close.
Yeah, a lot of work is happening. And sometimes it's hard to, explain like the amount of code that's getting merged right now. But yeah, the team's been doing a lot. I mean,
And you got two 13s done.
yeah. I mean, some of those had been going for a while, right? But I did get them over the line this sprint. And then yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Let me scan the chat for questions. Let's see. Create a position a few days earlier. I'm not able to close the position. It's throwing this error. Yeah, there's one thing that's happening which results in a negative balance of your position. So that is a well-known off by one error that we have in the peripheral contracts. It is fixed in our most recent version of the code, but we have not deployed the most recent version of the code. And the main reason is that so I think this version of the code is like two, I guess, releases old, and we've updated the core contracts, but we have not updated the front end for the core contracts. So until we update the front end for the core contracts, you're like living on this older version of the code with a bunch of things that have been fixed, but haven't been like updated. So that's going to be kind of our next push this month, is to take all of like when we get this new code hash, we're going to merge all of our fixes into the master branch for the core contracts, and then we'll transition to bringing the peripheral contracts that help. They're kind of like a bunch of helper functions, and the front end up to date with the core contracts. And so there'll be like a ton of improvements that will get added. And so this is kind of the downside of this, is like if you want to like play around and create like a new position, but you're currently blocked because you have an existing position, the best thing to do is just like create a new address for right now. Unfortunately, I know that's not going to be like a good answer when we're in production, but this is just fake internet money and right now. And so I appreciate your patience with us. It's quite a feat to just get through these audits in general, let alone keeping our entire stack up to date. So we just have some debt that we gotta fix after we get the audit stuff done this very soon here. Okay. Thank you for the question, by the way. It's always nice to see people are paying attention. If there's nothing else, we can wrap up. So give a moment or two for any last minute questions before we close things down. So Alexi, you got anything else from your end, or you got it all out already?
I got it all out.
All right.
I'm pumped to see how the next few weeks progress. We've got some cool stuff coming. I know that there's some cool updates that will hopefully finally be pushed through from the like product side as well with the code freeze, and I'm looking forward to things moving forwards. I think everyone's excited.
Very cool. Yeah, and just a quick reminder, maybe in case people didn't catch in the beginning, that we have a monthly update you said was going out soon.
A monthly
and
newsletter going out on Sunday.
yeah, I know I'm getting the update ready. I gotta start putting that together for we do investor update, but just in general, just like update them how things are going. So once we get the code complete hash, I'll be trying to work on that next. And then yeah, the next interesting.
The one thing that I will say is we've been discussing this because we've been doing monthly AMAs for the last, I think, 4 months, pretty consistently now. And last month we did it on X, and for this month we were going to, well, we want to have a quite a fun, cool guest on, and we were planning to have the it kind of be coinciding with with Mainnet, or when at least something is live and the code's complete. But for this month, what we might do instead of the standard monthly AMA is we might just have what me and Will discussed earlier, where we just kind of go on a space and shoot the shit as a team. If we do something, then it might be something like that instead, and then we'll be back with the normal monthly AMAs with guests and everything starting January 2026 is the current thought.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for that, and appreciate everybody. And short video on how to use the platform for new.
We
Don't
have plenty. We have a lot. Misha or Casper in chat can definitely link you to some. There's plenty on our Twitter currently, and then we have some uploaded to our YouTube as well. I believe I'd need to double check that.
we
And
have
then
a
I think
YouTube? I didn't even know we had a YouTube.
we that's where we upload. Like we have archives of all the AMAs and in these calls as well. That we upload there just so people can check them.
Awesome.
It's in the
very, very cool. Yeah, I'm glad to know we have a YouTube. I should go watch some of those videos. But maybe we can just put an update in the general chat with the YouTube and what's going on with the network. Which network? We support a few networks on testnet. So what network are you on, Luca? Yeah, Casper, maybe you can post the YouTube in the general chat just as a reminder to people that we have a YouTube channel that we put videos. And is it Vinod? Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, Vinod, but if you check out the videos on YouTube and you see anything that's missing or you feel like you want more information, come back at us and let us know what video you want us to make next, and I'm sure we can try to put that request in the queue.
absolutely.
Cool. Thanks. I don't know what network, so that little bit too broad. Is it the internet network? Is it the chain network you're on the app? I don't know of anything going on with networks, but we're not actively monitoring the test networks to know which ones are working, which ones aren't. So I know we have always had a lot of issue with Monad's testnet. It's a sort of, I guess, too fast for the indexing that we're using. So the internet network, I wasn't hearing for a minute. I don't know. I've been hearing on my end. I don't know if
Yeah,
Alexi and
you're all good. I think it was
Mal-
from Lucia's perspective.
Yeah, it might be on your end because I'm getting, I know Alexi's in Europe and I'm in the US, so our connection is okay, but might be just something on your end. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for the questions and the engagement. Glad to know that a few of you are not bots, and not jury's out on the rest of you, but there's a few that obviously have a pulse. And we'll chat with you guys next time. Thank you so much for participating in this in the call. So take care.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Everyone.